What makes a song perfect? Does it get stuck in your head, give you all the feels, make you get up and dance? Is it just personal taste? Or are there some objective qualities that elevate a song to this level? Join us as we attempt to answer these questions and more. This is The Perfect Song. Welcome to The Perfect Song. And today we're discussing a very, very popular song by a very popular group, Fleetwood Mac. And the song is The Chain from the huge album Rumors from 1977. Now, this album is steeped in lore, as it were. It was being recorded while members of the band were breaking up and being in turmoil, basically, and kind of hating each other a bit, but somehow finished the recording.
My favorite story from this era of Fleetwood Mac, Christine McVie wrote "You Make Lovin' Fun," and so she wrote that song. But she and John McVie were having real problems in their marriage, and they were not loving each other,
and it wasn't fun.
So he was like, "What the hell is this song about?" And she wrote it because she was having an affair with one of the roadies.
Nice.
And she just said, "Oh, it's about how much I love our dog."
Oh, nice. Okay, The Chain. The Chain was put together from bits and pieces of their songs. Like the intro was from Lindsey Buckingham, and there was a bass line John McVie had or something. So it was like a lot of different pieces sort of put together to make the song, and you can kind of hear that. But yeah, again, hugely popular song, hugely popular album from a hugely popular group. So tell me, what was your first memory of this particular Fleetwood Mac song?
You want to go first, Alan?
Sure. I have a very clear memory of this song. Driving to my grandfather's funeral, listening to this song in the car. We had a cassette player in the car, but we had, previous to that, we had a 8-track player, but we replaced it with a cassette player, and this was the only cassette we had, was this album. So we basically listened to this album for, I want to say 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have a very vivid memory.
Well, luckily, the album didn't go anywhere, so you never had to hear it on the radio at all later.
Yeah, exactly. Or in movies, or and the discord within it, kind of, even though it was nothing at all like the feeling I was having. I mean, factually, I wasn't breaking up with my grandfather, although in a way. But that kind of discord resonated with me in my sadness.
Fully admit, I didn't know the song until in the last 10 years. And that's because I was never a Fleetwood Mac fan. Never really got into them. Nobody in my family really was a fan or anything like that. So I didn't really hear them until, the last 10 years. I mean, I'd heard songs, obviously, but I didn't really know the songs until the last 10 years. And so when I was doing this, I never listened to Rumors all the way through. So I listened to the entire album all the way through for the first time just a week ago.
Wow. I think it's a strong
I know.
album.
It is. And I actually have a much greater appreciation. And that's when I learned all the stories of what was going on with making of the album and stuff like that. And I felt that the song is probably my favorite from the album. And I like the idea. It was also the only song that I noticed that was credited to the entire band rather than specific members.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the taking bits and pieces, as you pointed out, it was kind of stitched together from different things that different band members had done. And I actually like that because since the song itself is about chains that bind us, but they're being broken. And I like how that all worked together.
It's like all these different musical point of views being held together in this song, the way they're being held together with personal issues.
And I really felt a lot more about the song, probably because of my age too, that I see a lot more in it. If I were to listen to it when I was a teen, I would probably be okay, yeah, it's fun, it's a good song, whatever. But now I actually listen to it and have a great appreciation, and actually have it made me want to listen to a little bit more Fleetwood Mac now that I never really got into them. So
Nice.
and it's because of the song. And granted, I did hear the song. I think they had it in Guardians of the Galaxy, one of the movies, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some times that I have heard it, but never really listened to it until just recently. So
there's no component of nostalgia for you for the song. It's just like you listen to it as a song, and
yeah,
and you appreciate it. Yeah, for me, there's an element of that nostalgia part. Like I have vivid memories sometime in the 70s just playing this over and over. Again, there are a limited number of albums in the house. So I would play this one quite a bit. The structure of the song, I'll get into that a little bit. It's like it starts out kind of with this. I had some great notes that I lost. I don't know what happened. I had some great like adjectives I was using and everything. Anyway, what I do remember is I sort of describe the intro as like it's like sinister, gothic, but funky almost, with the way the guitar, there's a guitar, but is that like a mandolin or some other type of instrument? I don't actually know. Banjo even? Not sure.
Maybe the interesting thing, it's a long story as to why I know this, but Lindsey Buckingham learned how to play the guitar, I think, by listening to the Kingston Trio. But they were like, but he was listening to a banjo, like, so he plays the guitar using banjo like picking. I'm not a musician, so it's hard for me to.
Well, yeah. So even if it is a guitar, it is very much picked in the style of like that banjo kind of plucky sound. And then you get the verses with that kind of pulsing tone, mood, and then we get to the chorus, and it kind of and I'm feeling that maybe this is a part that someone else put together because it's a little more upbeat. And the thing that really stands out is that after we get through a couple more verse chorus sections, we get this breakdown where it's just this bass that is just like do 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 do, and you're like, what's going on in the song right now? And then it just winds up and builds up to this kind of rock and rollicking end, and you've got Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham having a singing argument. That's the way I thought about it, where she's saying the chain will keep us together, and he's going running in the shadows, which to me is like, but we got to hide, or it's like all on the down low, and it just sort of builds with the guitar solo and the tempo of the drums picking up. It's a great ending. So yeah, that's sort of my take on it.
Yeah. A couple things that I noticed when I was listening to it. I never realized how good of a drummer Mick Fleetwood actually is. He's a really good drummer.
Yeah, he is. And even those simple little parts where he's just kind of keeping the beat, but he's doing little flourishes that are just kind of like working.
That stood out a lot to me. I actually, the chain keep us together and run in the shadow, I took a little bit differently. So it's interesting to hear your take, because the chain keep us together, I'm saying, that we're trying to hold it together. We're actually saying, please hold it together kind of thing. And I was looking at running the shadows like there's sort of this dishonesty and disloyalty going on. And that's what I was taking it as. And so that was an ending to the song for me, that actually at the end, I felt like they were saying our chain is completely broken at the end.
Oh, that's what I meant. No.
Okay. Okay.
No, good. I like that. I like that take too. Yeah. How about you? What's your reaction of the sort of how it's put together and
I love the contrast between the sparseness of the beginning, kind of almost ethereal, like you're in this weird, like, where are they? Where, but then the end of the song is so full. Again, there's sparseness in that bass line. It just kind of goes back and forth between this cacophony of feelings or wants or desires, and then this like weird, sparse, almost haunted kind of parts at the beginning and in the middle. I like that contrast.
When you talk about the beginning, one of the words that I wrote down on my notes for myself was it seemed very incantatory like almost like Stevie Nicks wrote that part because of the way it felt like an incantation to me.
She's conjuring something.
That's what the whole beginning felt like to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's like gothic and sinister underpinning or whatever. I want to mention though, just the vocal, and this is true with a lot of their songs. The vocal harmonizing and everything is just so great.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out. It's awesome, y'all. When
it kicks into the higher gear, I guess is the best way to put it, and you don't love me now, that whole part really gets me. And I like how they do that, and it works really well. And that's really makes the song even better for me, how they melded those different sounds to work in a cohesive song.
Yeah, definitely.
Which shows great songwriting. Yeah, it shows great songwriting, and that they work well together as artists, not in relationships, but as artists.
Right. Yeah, and they're very good at, well, if you have the personal experience, I guess it's easier to write the song and really feel it and be true to it because it was happening. Well, let's get to the question. A perfect song, perhaps. Who should we go with? How about
I can go. Okay.
How about you, Mike? Tell me, because you're new to the game.
I'm actually going for yes on this one. And not that it evokes any sort of nostalgia for me, but I just thought the way it's put together, what it actually says, and actually the entire sound of it and everything, and the themes, and how it starts off the way it does and ends the way it does. It just has a complete flow and structure and story that I like. And I couldn't find really anything wrong with it. Okay. I was really trying to find, since I wasn't a fan of theirs, trying to find some criticism, and I could not find one for this song. So
nice. I'm going to go next and say I agree with Mike, and I do have that extra component of remembering hearing it early on in my life, and also just since then hearing it a lot, because I do play this album once in a while because it's so good. So I think it is. I think it's a perfect song. I'll go with it.
And then I will. I mean, I definitely think it's the perfect Fleetwood Mac song. And Mike, you alluded to this earlier. There is a sense with a lot of Fleetwood Mac songs that it's like 5 talented individuals, but this one's taking like Lindsey Buckingham wrote this one, or Stevie Nicks wrote this one. They all contributed on this, and I think you can feel it. It feels like all 5 members, even though obviously they all play on all the songs, were working together, even though it's about how it's all falling apart. So I'm going to agree, and I'm going to say perfect song.
Yeah, they made it work, and all of them really showed up in the recording session, and it was all strong.
Even though they hated each other.
Love, hate.
It's a thin line between love and hate, according to Chrissy Hine.
And then you just add a lot of cocaine. So
yeah.
There you go. Well, we're in agreement. I think that's the perfect song. Feel free to let us know what you think about this song or other Fleetwood Mac songs. And I guess we'll see you next time. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this GenXplainers podcast. Follow us on Instagram and friend us on Facebook. Just search for GenXplainers and find us on Patreon, where you can support the channel and gain access to extended cuts of the podcast as well as exclusive bonus content. See you next time.